Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is English Bulletin with me, Yutsab Bhattrai. The top stories first. Prime Minister Oli pledges to hike old age allowance, says government ready to bankroll funds for school building. Government steps up market monitoring case filed against 76 industries for adulteration of food. Daily infection of coronavirus rising in the country. Active cases climb to 1,390. Leaders of 23 countries back pandemic treaty idea for future emergencies. Stress on ensuring universal and equitable access to vaccine. And Belgium secures mammoth victory against Belarus in World Cup qualifiers. Vanaken and Trossard both score double. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has pledged to increase old age allowance and social security allowance in the upcoming fiscal year. The Prime Minister added that the government will also allocate funds for the infrastructure development of school buildings for the next 5 years. Speaking at an interaction held yesterday at Reporters Club, Prime Minister Oli said that the social security allowance will be increased from the start of the next fiscal year. Oli also reiterated that government will not pose any obstacle to press freedom. Prime Minister Oli also said that the government will support media houses during his remaining tenure. Meanwhile, NCP Maoist Centre has filed an application of review petition in the Supreme Court against its decision to revive NCP UML and Maoist Centre. Chairman of Maoist Centre Pushpa Kamal Dahal reached the court yesterday along with leaders and senior advocates to file the petition. Interacting with the reporters after registering the petition, Chairman Dahal informed the decision made by the court on dispute regarding the name of the party was unnatural, twisted and political. Chairman Dahal further said that he is hopeful about the Apex Court. He is hopeful that Apex Court will reconsider its earlier decision that invalidated the unification between former CPN UML and CPN Maoist Centre. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. After the break, we continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 167 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 277,147, while the number of active cases has increased to 1,390. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, altogether 272,727 infected persons have recovered from the disease in the country so far. The death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 3,030 as 3 new fatalities were reported yesterday. Nepal is currently among the top 50 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The US tops the list with over 31.9 million confirmed cases, followed by Brazil with over 12.66 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 128.78 million people across the world and claimed 2.81 million lives. And now the news from economic front. The Food Technology and Quality Control Department has filed cases against 76 industries in the capital for adulteration of food. The cases were registered at District Administration Office Kathmandu yesterday. The department took action following complaints from the consumers. Most of the cases have been filed against bottled water supply companies, followed by noodles and spice companies. Companies selling edible oil, bakery items, sauce, honey, biscuit have also been accused of adulteration of food. We'll be taking a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Leaders of 23 countries and the World Health Organization on Tuesday backed drawing up an international treaty that would help deal with future health emergencies like the coronavirus pandemic. According to Reuters, the idea of such a treaty is also aimed at ensuring universal and equitable access to vaccines. The idea was floated by the chairman of European Union leaders, Charles Michel, last November. WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has endorsed the proposal, but formal negotiations have not begun, diplomats say. Tedros told a news conference on Tuesday that a treaty would tackle gaps exposed by COVID-19 pandemic. A draft resolution on negotiations could be presented to the WHO's 194 member states at their annual meeting in May, he said. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Brighton's Leonardo Trossard and Leicester's Dennis Praet scored their first Belgium goals in a crushing World Cup 2022 qualifying win over Belarus. Michy Batshuayi got the first before Hans Vanneken's volley made it 2-0 to number 1 team in FIFA's rankings. Trossard's exquisite finish from 22 yards extended the lead before Jeremy Doku added the fourth before half-time. Praet netted the fifth, late goals by Christian Benteke, Trossard and Vanneken completing the rout. The result lifted Belgium with 7 points from 3 games to the top of Group E. The Czech Republic had started the day at the summit but dropped to second after Belgium eased to victory with Martinez's side 5-0 ahead inside 50 minutes as they opened up a 3-point lead at the top of the group. Before kick-off, the Belgium team came onto a field wearing black t-shirts featuring the words "Football supports change" in reference to the well-publicized plight of host of the next World Cup. It followed similar messages to those promoted by Netherlands, Norway in the past few days. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Prime Minister Oli pledges to hike old age allowance, says government ready to bankroll funds for school building. Government steps up market monitoring, case filed against 76 industries for adulteration of food. Daily infection of coronavirus rising in the country, active cases climb to 1,390. Leaders of 23 countries back pandemic treaty idea for future emergencies, stress on ensuring universal and equitable access to vaccines. And Belgium secures mammoth victory against Belarus in the World Cup qualifiers. Vanneken and Trossard both scored double. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.